In the last few weeks, I've seen videos and comments of individuals that have lost their mother. Both men and women asking questions such as, how do I move forward? How do I deal with this? Expressing that they feel like an orphan and they feel lost. If you have lost your mom, you may want to stick around and drop in and stay for a moment. This episode may be for you if you feel like you can use some tips on how to navigate this new journey. Welcome to Happy Hour Conversations with Tamekia. We are everything her, helping to elevate and redefine our sister friend tribe, bringing women's stories and voices to the mic. If you are new here to the podcast, we welcome you. I am Tamekia. Be sure to stay connected with me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at Happy Hour Conversations with Tamekia. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe, and hit the notification button so you will be notified when we drop videos. In today's episode, we are going to discuss being and feeling like an orphan and how to navigate the journey of losing your mom with a few tips that has helped me. But before we jump into today's show, I'd like to share this week's affirmation. I choose to see that both darkness and light can coexist. I need them both in order to grow. I honor both my pain and my happiness as they too can coexist and take up space. I choose to put one foot in front of the other and live life as my mama would want me to. And this episode is dedicated to those that have lost their moms. As I stated before, this episode is going to focus on a few tips that I'm going to give you that help me navigate this journey. So I unexpectedly lost my mom in 2019. And of course, every story is different, but the commonality we share is the pain of losing our mom. The "you only get one mama" phrase is a bold reality check, because your normal of saying mama comes to a devastating end. And all the things that mamas do, right? The calls, the text messages, the showing up, the recipes, her food, calling her name and just yelling her name because you can, right? And so this episode was inspired because here recently, I've been seeing adults, men and women, talking about dealing with losing their mother. And I'm 5 years into this. And so I wanted to try to give some tips that would help. And so to the woman that asked, how do I deal with losing my mom? To the man that said, I lost my mom, my best friend, but I figure out how to push through. To the other young man that says, I just get up and I do something, I move. And to the many, many others that are on this journey called grief due to losing your mom. There is no easy response to this pain that you are experiencing. And let me be clear, I'm not a clinical specialist or anything. However, I do have experience of losing my mom, which gives me the guidance, the understanding, and also gives me purpose to share some of my coping mechanisms. And so the first thing I will offer you is take time, take a moment to really sit in your pain. I know that sounds really, really weird, but take a moment to really sit in the pain of losing your mom. Don't try to bounce back to your normal life in the way that, life was, because it won't work that way. It just will not work. I want you to really take time to sit in the pain. Welcome and acknowledge everything that you feel. Your pain, your hurt, your sadness, the madness, the forgetfulness. You're going to get foggy brain. You'll forget a lot of things. You can yell, you can scream. Process everything. Process of how you're going to continue life. You're going to experience anxiety. You may even experience panic attacks. You may even ask yourself, why my mama? I want you in your very first step to really sit in your pain. That's number one. Number two, take a moment and seek grief therapy. Number two is take a moment and seek grief therapy. You can do individual therapy, you can do group therapy, or you can do both. There's also a thing called art grief therapy. Number two is seeking therapy. Number three, find your community of other people that have lost their mother. This journey of losing a parent, specifically we're talking about our mom, is not meant to go through alone. When you seek your community, it gives you a better understanding. It gives those people a better understanding of what you're going through versus someone that has not yet been on this journey. The community of people, it will offer you a safe space. They can feel your pain from a different lens because of their pain. And you won't feel alone on this journey. Finding your communities will also give you opportunities to be able to grief share, right? And also tap into other people to find out what they're doing to cope. When it comes to coping, I do want to offer this. Healthy coping matters. Healthy coping matters. So find some healthy coping ways that you can get through this. And some of the suggestions I have are you can exercise. You can do exercises at home. You can join a gym and exercise. You can go walking. You can dance. You can do yoga. Find a way to build a routine and start exercising. You can garden, learn how to crochet. You could take art classes, cooking classes. And if you already know how to do some of these things, maybe you can start teaching them. The important thing here that I want to focus on is find healthy ways to cope. The next thing that I will offer you, which is number 4, if you have siblings, please, please, please be mindful. Everyone does not process the same. And each of your experiences are different. You all had a different relationship with your mom. So allow each other to have their own grieving space. And remember, what works for you may not necessarily work for your sibling. So just allow each other to have space, but also share with one another when you feel like it's right. Share with one another what you're going through. Now, to my single children that didn't have any siblings, I encourage you, for your first step of action is to find your community. Yeah, I encourage you to find your community and or a close family member that you can lean into while you're on this journey. And number 5, find ways to keep your mom's name and legacy alive. This is the time that you can be creative. So really quick, I'm going to go back through the steps just one more time. Number 1 was take a moment to sit in your pain. Number 2, seek grief therapy. Number 3 is find your community of people and also create healthy coping mechanisms. Number 4, for siblings, be mindful and respectful that each process is different. If you are a individual that does not have siblings, I encourage you, for your first step of action that's mixed with number 1 is to also find your community immediately or lean into a family member while you're on this journey. And number 5, find ways to keep your mom's name and legacy alive. You know, most people will tell you that time heals all things. And I've been on this journey for about 5 years. And so, what I will say is, time does not heal all things. This journey is for the rest of your life. The pain will always be there, triggers will always come. The sharpness of the pain may get dull, but there will be times where the pain will surface. There will be moments that it will just surface and you're not able to control. It just comes. So when it comes, let it come, go through whatever it is that you're going to go through, and keep on moving through what you're doing. You'll learn how to manage life in this new normal. Just remember, the grief process is always with you. It's not something that you complete. It will always be with you. And before we close, I will ask you, and I'm speaking to all adults that are new to this journey, that's been on this journey for a while, such as myself. Those who are on this journey, once you find yourself in a better space, because as adults, right, that, we end up losing our mom and we feel like orphans, I will task you and ask you to, once you find yourself being in a better space with grief, if you ever find yourself crossing paths with a younger person, a teenager, a child, a young adult that have lost their mother, please take time to find ways to share your story with them and empower them on this journey. I lost my mom at 40. I could not imagine losing my mom as a teenager. I couldn't imagine losing her in my 20s. And so being older and feeling like an orphan, I can't imagine what a younger individual feels like and what they're going through. And so if we can offer help to the younger generation, that's what the action item is that I would ask you to do. I hope this episode is helpful for someone that is on the journey, the grief journey of losing your mom. And just remember to find your community. I am your girl, Tamekia. Remember, you can always find me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, and YouTube at Happy Hour Conversations with Tamekia. We'll talk soon.